Welcome back. We're joined now remotely by House Republican Mike Murphy. He joins us from his home office in Springfield. Representative, good to have you with us.
Great to be here, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
Before your time as an elected official in Springfield, you owned and operated the restaurant Charlie Parker's in Springfield, and that was your business. That was your lifeblood, your life's work there. First of all, I expect that you probably keep in touch with other restaurant owners. Bars and restaurants are some of the very first businesses to really feel the economic pinch of this public health crisis. How much longer can restaurants survive without customers?
It's definitely a challenge. Some of them are trying to survive with drive up and carry out and curbside pickup, and you can come in to some degree and pick up and carry out. But it's a struggle. Even those that were set up for drive ups are doing okay, but their volumes are down, and then the ones who were not set up for that type of business are really struggling. Some tried it for a week and just no longer doing it. So we have many who are totally shut down, and it's definitely a strain. There's a lot of stress, a lot of concern. I talk to them almost on a daily basis. I have a group that I text with and send them out information on when new programs come up, and just to talk and see how they're doing. But there's a lot of concern out there for sure.
There's concern. There's also some looking for solutions. You mentioned there are many of these, not only restaurants or bars, but there are other types of businesses that are trying to find creative ways, safe ways to conduct essential business while the state and the governor's office still grapples with this public health crisis. Are there any safe recommendations or good best practices that you've seen from some in the restaurant industry as they try to, for example, some bars have asked local officials to relax some of their fees, to relax some of their practices so that they can sell some of their items in bulk. Are there any ideas like that you as a former restaurant owner or you as a current elected official could support that might throw a lifeline to some of these businesses?
I'm looking for all kinds of ways to help this industry get back on its feet. One thing is the curve starts flattening out. I hope we would start opening up these. And one of the suggestions I've made, maybe not at the 100% capacity that they could have, but maybe at 50%, and have every other table so there's still social distancing going on, and different ways to promote this industry to get back on its feet, because it is definitely struggling right now. Not only the business owners, but we have unbelievable amount of people out of work. The restaurant industry is a major employer in the state of Illinois and throughout the country. And we have a lot of people who are missing their weekly paycheck and tips, and it's just a struggle.
Yeah, and for people like that, we heard from Deputy Governor Christian Mitchell, and the state is trying to grapple with its unemployment website. What are you telling constituents who come to you and say, I'm having a hard time logging on for unemployment, or maybe they're a gig economy worker who doesn't have that classification available to them yet? What do you say to those workers, or what message do you have for the governor's office as they try to bring this new tab, essentially, of the unemployment website online?
Yeah, it's been a big struggle. It's probably been the number one issue that we've dealt with. Even though both my staff are working from home, we get phones. Whenever somebody calls our office, they immediately get an email, and they send me the voice message, or they deal with it themselves. But almost entirely, it's been unemployment issues. People just cannot get on the website. They're kicking them out for one reason or another, even though they're putting the accurate information in. And so we've been trying our best to help them deal with the system, but it's terrible out there. We got these people, most of them are used to getting the check every week, and they're 2 or 3, 4 weeks now, and they haven't got paid. It's definitely a struggle on it. We need to look at maybe think outside the box, maybe bring in a independent private consulting company to help us get this unemployment issue taken care of. I know that Leader Durkin has made that suggestion to the governor, and I wish the governor would take him up on that offer and try to look at other solutions, because it's not working.
And it's not as though the tech world is some mystery to this governor. He founded the Tech Hub 1871 and has many contacts in the city of Chicago that are some of the world premier leaders in that industry. But that illustration that you provided, where your constituents living in Springfield calling saying they're getting kicked off, that doesn't match at all what Governor Pritzker said in a press conference on Wednesday. He said, in fact, they're removing hurdles, they're removing those early processes where you have to go through all these hoops and red tape to qualify for unemployment. He said that process has never been easier. What's really happening here? Does the governor have a full grasp on what's going on?
I don't know. Before this interview, I was checking some things, and one of the posts on Facebook is not my constituent, but was in a different rep's area. Just posted and says he's been struggling for 4 days to get through the Department of Unemployment, and so it's still a problem. We need to fix it. And you mentioned, we have a lot of good consulting companies in Chicago. We've got a great one here in Springfield, and LRS. I'm sure that they're used to dealing with companies to help them figure out problems. There's a lot of opportunities there, and we need to do this immediately, because these people who aren't getting their checks is just a shame.
I want to ask you about those folks again, because I believe that the federal relief package, the disaster relief package that came from Congress, and the state effort recently to hand out and distribute grant money and relief money has had significant earmarks, if you will, for people who collect tips, waiters, bar staff, barbacks, people like that. Where do those people go specifically to get help? Are they also supposed to just go through the unemployment agency, or is there some other way that people that in that category can get relief right now?
I would say those people in that particular instance, their best option is unemployment. There's some business options out there as far as SBA, and the state has some programs for some businesses. But as far as individual workers, I believe their only option is with unemployment security. There might be some private grants out there here or there, but I would think their real solution for their problem is going to be the Department of Unemployment Security. That's why we need to get it up and running. And
so that's their only place to go. You mentioned the business owners can go to the Small Business Administration. They can perhaps get a loan. We saw thousands of people apply, and the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity I think only had so much to give out. Just a fraction of those that applied won those grants. So there's a lot more people asking for help right now than are able to get it. I guess that leads us to a question. Maybe it'll be different for every business, and depending on how much cash reserves they have, or how well they've prepared, or how well they've operated up until this point. But from what you're hearing, what is that timeline like? How many more weeks? 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks can these bars and restaurants go without having to close up permanently?
I did see somebody post, they were in the Chicago area. I'm on a Facebook page up there for Chicago restaurant operators. I did see somebody post last night that they got approved and actually got a payment for their payroll protection program. It's through the SBA. That's the first one I've heard of. That program just recently rolled out, and it's a little cumbersome. I've been advising everybody to go to your bank, because there's so many programs out there with the SBA, and some work with others and they don't. And so I've been telling people, you got to get some professional advice here and to see what's best. There's other programs as well. The treasurer, he has a bridge loan program that I was happy to work with him on. I made a suggestion, and they were working on something very similar that it's going to provide some money immediately to get through until the SBA comes through. And all you got to do is go to your local bank. If they have a relationship already with the treasurer's office, that's set up, and they can apply for these bridge loans. So there's a lot of different things. There's so many of them, actually, it's a little confusing right now. And so I've been sending out sheets every now and then that explain the different programs, and so people will understand what they're applying for.
Yeah, it has been interesting to watch and see. Representative Murphy will continue to keep our ear close to the ground to hear how these restaurants are doing, and we look forward to the time when the State House returns to action. We still don't exactly know when that's going to be.
Yeah, can I mention one other thing, though?
Of course.
Regards to restaurants, I'm so proud of what so many of them are doing. You guys had an article yesterday about a Springfield restaurant who'd given out meals to school kids. Papo's Cafe gave out 600 meals last week. I just talked to him. They're going to do 1,600 meals for Easter, and they're free. I mean, it's just unbelievable, some of the things that the local restaurants are doing. I'm so proud of the restaurant industry, and a tough time for them. They're still taking care of the community. couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, even as their own business model and their businesses are undergoing this duress, they're still finding that time to look out for their neighbors and to help each other. That is pretty inspiring and heartwarming to see, especially around this time of year.
Makes me proud of the industry.
All right, Representative Murphy, thank you for dialing on. Thanks for joining us here. We'll stay in touch and stay safe. Be well.
Mark, you stay safe. I'm glad you're feeling well.
Thanks, you too. All right, we're back in just a moment. Stay with us.